Taya, obviously kind of a frantic finish. Southern Miss makes a huge comeback. Just how were you able to hold them off there, like, especially late when they pulled within 2 there?
I would say it was a team effort. We all came together, working really hard, and we knew we needed to get some stops and just keep the defensive pressure up. So, yeah.
Obviously, you guys were able to open things up there in the third quarter. Just good ball movement, great defense as well. Just talk about that third quarter to start the way you did, and just to give yourself that cushion there.
I'd say once we went into the locker room at halftime, our coach gave us like a hard talk saying we need to come back out with that same energy that we came with the first quarter. So I think we just knew what we needed to do to continue to push to win the game. Yeah.
I mean, 9 rebounds, 11 points, 4 blocks for you. I mean, just all over the place defensively. Just talk about your mindset, especially defensively and rebounding. Obviously a lot of foul trouble with the post. Just talk about your mindset and aggressiveness on the defensive end.
So for me, I love defense. Like, I love to time up for the blocks. Like, that's like a thrill for me. So I'm waiting till the ball goes up, and I'm just ready to come swat that. Yeah.
Right. There's so much youth on this team. There's 5 freshmen. 4 of them have played. 4 of them played tonight. Players like you and Paige played a ton last year as freshmen. Like, how important is it, especially like for you two, to have kind of a calming presence out there, that experience factor, knowing that a lot of freshmen are going to be playing a lot of minutes this year?
I'd say, like, coming in, I didn't know I was going to play a lot. Like, I was a little nervous. But after having my first year, getting into the system of just playing basketball here with the new coach and everything, I say I was ready for the second year to come back even harder, and I just knew what I needed to do. So, yeah.
How's the leg? I left the game for a little bit, but came back.
So I just had a really bad cramp, and it just, that was it. I got a little scared.
And just how big is it to be able to, come away with a win, and for how close it got, obviously, with a lot of young players playing, a lot of freshmen playing big minutes late, just for that psyche to get the win under the belt, how big is that for you guys?
I'd say it was really exciting, especially this is our first big game of the season for the Sun Belt MAC challenge. Yeah, so it was very exciting to win this one, and we knew it was going to be a tough competition, so we prepped really hard for this, and with Coach Fred, he really prepared us for what was coming, and I think we did well with the preparation, and we came out with the dub.
Sorry, I'm cutting in front of the cameras.
I mean, it felt like it was such a physical game today, like it dominated the boards and fouls. Can you talk about how your team came together to get that win after all the fouls and all the close calls today?
I'd say we always stick as a team. We always talk to each other just to let each other know, like, little mistakes that we may have done, maybe like swatting on something we didn't need to swat on or reaching. Yeah.
I mean, your teammate, Paige Kohler, had a huge game today, 19 points, and she went to the ground a lot. Can you just talk a little bit about her and her performance today and her toughness?
Wait, can you ask that question again?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Sorry.
Your teammate, Paige Kohler, she had a great game today, 19 points,
Yeah.
7 for 13 shooting, and she went to the ground a lot today, and she seemed like she's all over the place. Could you talk a little about your teammate, her performance today, and her toughness?
Yeah, Paige is a very tough player. I love her. She's very aggressive. She has that thrill to her. She really wants to win. Like, she'll get knocked down, but she's getting back up, and she's coming back harder. So that's what I love about Paige. And she'll encourage all her other teammates to push with her. So.
And then you had a massive day on the blocks. You had 4 blocks, especially that huge one in the second quarter. Could you just talk about, like, when you go up for those shots and you see those layups, what's your strategy when you're going up for those blocks?
For me, since I know I'm going to swat, I let the ball, like, come out of their hands a little bit, and then I'm timing it to swat down and block that. My favorite thing to do. Yeah.
Any other questions for Taya?
You went 11 deep today off the bench. How much of an advantage is that for your team?
I say it's really good because contributions from our bench to help our starting 5 get a little bit of breaks. Get some breaks is good because we need contributions from everybody, even if it's just a rebound, some energy, anything. So, yeah.
All right, Taya, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Coach, if you would, start us off with a thought or two, and then we'll take questions.
Yeah, first off, just best wishes and quick healing to Coach Joy of Southern Miss, who wasn't here with her team. But, they definitely made her proud. They played extremely hard. They're a very physical team. There was no quit in them. We got up 15, and they just kept on clawing back into it and making us foul them and make poor decisions when we were on offense, and hats off to them. I thought we came in the game. They were probably exactly what we expected. Just warned them about, how tough and physical it was going to be, and not to let them speed them up, and did a good job for the majority. But I think when we got fatigued, I think that's when we started really, turning the ball over and giving it up. And it's hard to win when you turn the ball over 24 times, but we fought through it and did a fantastic job. Some great contributions from Paige and Taya, and Lauren Gherkin off the bench was tremendous.
Questions?
To be able to win this game with Erica and Kendall in foul trouble most of the game, and obviously Taya and Lauren are playing the 5. Was that on your bingo card? Those two playing the 5 and being able to contribute as well as they did.
My bingo card is rather large, so yes, yeah. We knew that typically Erica is going to be feast or famine. Foul trouble, not foul trouble, great game, not so great. So. We expect that, and that's why we have our bench. We've got great players coming off our bench. We're fairly deep. We get contributions in different ways from all of them. So it was important that players like Gherkin came off the bench and supported us.
Obviously, Paige and Taya played a ton as freshmen last year. You had 4 freshmen play some pretty good minutes tonight. Yeah. Obviously, talk a lot last year. Paige doesn't play like a freshman because she's played so much. Kind of same with Taya. Just how important is their presence, their kind of calming demeanor, just for this team, considering that you guys are still pretty young?
Yeah, I mean, the scary part is their growth has been great, but they're not done yet. They're going to develop into much better players. Paige has grown tremendously, and Taya has grown even more than that. Like that's not last year's Taya, what we saw there. So their growth is big for us. We need their support and leadership, but we've got some great leadership in older players that have shown them how to do it. So with great leadership, they follow, and now they're becoming leaders.
Obviously, you guys had a lot of turnovers, but to force 20 turnovers as well. They only made 1 3-pointer, and that was the last couple minutes of the game. Just kind of talk about just the defensive effort, especially the first 3.5 quarters.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you said something because, last year I thought that was something that we could grow expeditiously. We could make that something way better than it was last year, and they've done a great job. Like, we practice hard. The focus was on defense majority of the summer, and they've embraced it. And they, concepts and schemes, and they've wrapped their arms around it. And you can tell in the stats when we forced 20 turnovers and 27 points off turnovers. We'd like to create about 20 to 25% of our offense off our defense, and we did that tonight. So extremely proud of our defense. I really didn't say that in the locker room because I was still kind of boiling over with the turnovers, but I'll tell them day after tomorrow. They're off tomorrow.
Sorry again for cutting in front. Thought it was going to happen.
I mean, obviously today was such a physical day for the team, and you're playing. So many players went to the floor, and there were so many fouls. How do you go about coaching that through the game, through such a tough defense?
Yeah, well, every officiating crew is going to officiate the game differently. We have to adjust. It doesn't do me any good or the players any good to complain. We have to adjust to the style of play that the referees are allowing us to play. That being said, I do think we're a tough team. I think we can dig deep and fight back and hold our ground. So that's a major thing for me. That's, I hope that's a reflection of our coaching staff, the way they fight and claw and compete. And they're growing each day. I think they're going to be even more competitive as we get down the road. They're going to learn how to really get after it.
Speaking of toughness, Paige Kohler, she scored 19 points today, but felt like she was on the floor a lot. She was playing really tough basketball. Could you just talk a little bit about that and the toughness she showed today?
She was on the floor a lot. Yeah, she's back there. Look, Paige does whatever it takes. Paige will do whatever it takes. If it takes her sticking her face in there, she's going to stick her face in there. If it comes out with a bloody nose, she's coming out with a bloody nose. Like, she's not going to hesitate on getting in there and mixing it up. Regardless of her size or stature, she's a fighter, and that's what I love about her. She competes.
21 bench points tonight from the team. How much of an advantage is that for you guys?
Yeah, well, last year we didn't have much of a bench. We were playing a lot of players, a lot of minutes. We didn't have a lot of depth. We had a lot of injuries. So it's truly a blessing. It's a luxury that we weren't afforded last year. The thing is, I think our bench isn't as good as it's going to be come December. I think in December our bench is going to be really good. They're going to really contribute. They're going to change the tide of games with their presence. So I'm looking forward to that. Until that time, we're going to keep on working and getting them to the place where they need to be.
And then Southern Mississippi got 23 offensive rebounds tonight. How do you change that for the next game and just stop them from getting offensive rebounds for your next opponent?
Yeah, well, it would help if our bigs weren't in foul trouble. Two of our bigger players were enjoying themselves on the bench. I don't think they were enjoying themselves, but they were sitting and kind of sitting on the bench for a long, long time. I think with them in the game, it may be a different rebounding battle, but our guards have to box out. That's a key point for us when we go into games, because we do have some smaller guards, so we do have to make contact, keep contact, and keep them off the glass. A lot of those other guards are running rebounders, so the physicality piece is something that we have to work on.
The second straight season where you open with a nail biter here in Bowling Green. Thoughts on that?
Getting old quick. I think I'm like 1,000 dog years in coaching right now. A little bit of stress. It doesn't have to be that hard, but I told them, when you look up the columns, it's just going to have the win. It's not going to have struggled to finish or didn't take care of the ball down the stretch. None of those notes are going to be there. It's only going to be a W. And, last year we lost 2 games to Sunbelt teams, and this year we came in here and we were determined to win. So there's definite growth. I'm looking forward to the season.
All right. Questions for Paige?
First of all, are you okay? And second of all, just take us through the injuries tonight.
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, we got the win, so that's all that matters. First one I caused myself. I turned it over and went for the loose ball. Second one, just an elbow to the face. But
how physical the game was, just how do you just fight through that? And I mean, obviously, especially late when it was such a close game, how do you just fight through the physicality and everything?
we're competitive. We want to win, and that kind of takes over. Like, that above all, gonna do whatever it takes to win.
This is such a young team. 4 freshmen played tonight. Obviously, there's some great leadership with the seniors, some upperclassmen, but players like you and Taya, sophomores, but you played a ton of minutes last year. How critical is just your experience and presence, to help out these freshmen? Can you just talk a little bit about that, since you guys do have so much experience as freshmen?
Last year, the older girls did the same thing for us, so we're going to do the same thing for the younger girls coming in. And I think it's really important to give them that confidence early, because everybody on the team matters. They help so much. And they gave me that confidence last year, and I want to instill that in them also.
For you and Taya to both hit free throws down the stretch when they pulled within 2 there, just take us through that, to be able to calmly sink that and to pull out the win there.
I just had to think it's the same as practice, like nobody else is watching. Take a deep breath. Last game I struggled with free throws, and I started to focus on the ball instead of everything else around me, and just take a deep breath.
7 of 13 shooting tonight. A few three-pointers in there as well. I mean, obviously you're aggressive offensively. Just kind of take us through that. Obviously you've been able to put up points in the past, but shooting over 50%, obviously it was really effective tonight too.
I think just going into the game confident, but then also my teammates found me. There was a couple 1-more passes that they had to me, but we do that for each other. If we know someone's hot, we get them the ball. Thank you.
I mean, obviously, it was such a tough game down the stretch. It got really close towards the end. How do you and your team go about playing those tough games when it gets down to it?
I just think we've battled adversity before. I mean, practices are tough, but again, the competitiveness. We all want to win. We're all competing, and I think that just takes over.
And then, obviously, you had to manage there were a lot of fouls today. You guys had to manage that. A lot of your bigs, like Erica, got into foul trouble early. How did the team go about managing that throughout the game?
I think, we're so deep. People can play any position, and they step up where they need to be. Yeah, we're so versatile, I think. Lauren, at some points, was playing the 5. I mean, she doesn't normally play the 5, but she'll do whatever it takes to win. Same with Taya. She doesn't normally play the 5, but same with her. She'll do anything it takes to win.
I mean, speaking of anything takes to win, you were all over the court at every point of the game. Is that how do you go in with that mentality game to game that you're going to do that you're going to be everywhere on the court going for basketball?
I think just for my teammates, I don't want to let them down. I know how much it sucks to go in the locker room after the game after a loss, and we don't want that feeling, but just being there for my teammates. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more questions for Paige? All right. Thanks,
Thank you,
Chmiel.
guys.